live.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello. We're here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Work Hard. My name is Ethan. I'm your host. Today with me is my co-host, Jason.
Hello, everybody.
So to catch you guys up, I am on death's door. If you listen to Maximum Alert, you already knew that. Because the episode... Actually, no, you didn't. You didn't already know that because I didn't get sick. I don't even know what... Today's Saturday, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You got sick on Monday when we were going to record.
Yeah, I got sick on Monday when we were going to record.
No, Sunday. Sunday night you texted me.
No, Emily
and
was
said Emily
sick.
got sick.
Emily got
that
sick.
was what canceled our recording on Monday.
Right. That's what recorded. Emily got sick, and I didn't want to get you sick.
So it's her fault.
So it's Emily's fault. This all started with my
Yep.
wife.
Yep.
It's her fault. She was being a fool. No, she. My daughter got sick Thursday, and was up all night Thursday night, and then and we were not even at home because we've been out of my house because we've got this flea problem.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't get home from that. We were gone for almost a week from the house because we had to wait for these nematodes to get to the house in the mail that you can use for these things. And then my well broke, so I couldn't use the I didn't have any source
Really?
of water to spray the nematodes.
Oh,
Dude,
my
it's
goodness.
been a ride. And so I was all this stuff has been going on, right? Since it started on Thursday, basically, is when it all started happening. And then from Thursday until this moment, I'm sitting here on the couch, it has been a non-stop train car after train car of manure for a week. For a week and a half. So my daughter got sick, and then we had one day of my wife and I being fine, still not home. My daughter was still a little sick Friday, and this thing that we get is like, it comes on violently, and then you're like insanely sick. Like, we almost took my daughter to the hospital. We were getting in the car to go to the hospital Friday morning when she turned a corner like that and was just threw up one last time, and then all the color came back to her face, and she popped up and was like running around wanting to play. And so we had Friday where it was like everybody's good. My daughter was still, like you could tell she was still tired and like coming down from being sick, but everybody was good. We had to move from Emily's parents' house to my parents' house because Emily's grandparents were coming in for my daughter's birthday party that we were going to have that we had to cancel on Saturday. So we had dinner instead, but we had to leave. We had to get everybody over to my parents' house because there was no room at Emily's parents' house for us to stay there over the weekend. All the beds were already spoken for. And then, so we were here. Everybody was cool for maybe 24 hours, and then Emily went down. And she got hit heavy, dude. Like right off the rip, puking, whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
And she was down. She
Rough.
was down from like Saturday night until Tuesday morning. And she still felt bad, but at least she could get up and walk around. And so she started feeling good just in time for me to go down. And so like Tuesday afternoon, I went down. And I mean, it just comes on so hard, dude. Like I thought I was going to have to go to the hospital Tuesday night.
Yeah.
It just hits you so, and it's like every 10 minutes you're puking, diarrhea, everything. Oh, and so just all of the fluid that you have in your body is evacuated within like 5 hours. And so luckily it only lasted for like 10.
Right.
It comes on real quick, but then it also goes away real quick. But then afterwards you're just like
Drained.
And so it was like Wednesday afternoon I like was fine or felt okay. I still couldn't get out of bed, but I felt like I didn't feel nauseous at least. And so I got whatever, chilled on Wednesday, and then Thursday we're gonna have the one of the younger couples, one of the new married couples at our church over for dinner on Friday. So my wife's got to get the house ready. We've still got the fleas. We've got all this stuff going on. My wife's basically on her own, has 48 hours to take our house, including the outside.
Right. Pull this together.
Yeah, pull it all together. So I get up Thursday and I'm like, I'm doing this. Like, it doesn't matter how I feel. I have to help her. So I got out of bed. I took my daughter to the park that morning. And like, basically I just like took my daughter Thursday so that Emily could just do everything she needed to do.
Right.
And then, but that was just a step too far. And Friday I woke up and I was re-sick.
Nah.
Yeah. Re-sick, nauseous, diarrheas, whole 9 yards. And so we texted the couple and we're like, hey guys, this is what's going on. If you want to come over, we're happy to have you. We do not want to, because we already canceled on them once the week before. And so we're like, we don't want to cancel on you again. If you want, we can postpone, like maybe Monday or Tuesday or whatever.
Right.
But, we're happy to have you over. And they were like, we've been around sick people all week. We're fine. We're coming. And so we were like, all right, fine. So I just laid in bed and, dude, I just destroyed Pedialyte for 4 hours. And so by the time they got there, I was actually
doing all right.
Yeah, I was doing all right. And then they stayed late. So Abigail stayed up late and we stayed up late.
Good times.
Yeah. And then today, Emily's best friend is in town.
Okay.
So they were navigating all of that. So Abigail's been like back and forth, and I've been with her, and she's been with them, and whatever. So it's been a whole freaking rigmarole, dude. The journey here was a long one, and that tip, boys, listen to the listeners. I want you guys to know that at Work Hard we practice what we preach. All right, I have. Many times this week, the thought that I had that kept me going was just put one foot in front, just do the next thing. Like literally just do the next thing. Like what's next? You just need to get out of bed? Okay, just get out of bed. All right, what's next? You got to put on a shirt? Okay, just put on a shirt. Just get in the shower.
Eating the elephant one bite at a time.
One bite at a time. Yeah. So, fun week. And that all culminated in torturing Jason by being 20 minutes late to our meeting, and he had to sit and watch football with my dad for 20 minutes by himself, which I guess was not as awkward as I was afraid it might be.
No.
Which is, I don't know why. Yeah, my dad's
he's very chill.
Extremely chilly. I don't know why I would be
very
afraid that
easygoing.
Yeah, it would be awkward.
I just felt bad for being here.
Yeah, being here. Yeah.
I just helped with a move, and my truck doesn't have air conditioning, so I was very sweaty.
Yeah.
Ethan's parents' house is a very nice house, so I felt very out of place. I asked to sit outside in the backyard, and that was only granted to me for about 5 minutes before I was pulled back indoors. They prepped a chair for me, too. They put a blanket over a chair so that I wouldn't feel bad about sitting in it.
Good. That sounds like a mom. That sounds like my mom.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Well, I'm glad it all worked out, dude. And it has
Here
all
we
worked
are.
out. Here we are. We made it, dude. We made it. But all that to say, that long-winded story is just to say that Jason might be Mike 1 today. I may have just expended all of the brain power I have telling that story. Our topic today, you want to dive into it? Let's dive into it.
Yeah, so I was listening to the radio. There's one of the country radio stations has a morning show called the Bobby Bones Show.
Okay.
Bobby Bones is the main host. There's a panel of other radio personalities on it as well. And for being a country radio station, they're a little bit, they're a little more mainstream or liberal. They're not country people, which is an odd radio station to have. It's a pretty good show, entertaining, I should say.
Yeah.
But sometimes the views they have creep in a little bit more, because he also has a mailbag. You can mail in and ask him a question. There's a section where they weigh in on people's problems,
Right.
Which you should always do if you're a radio host.
Right. Free content. Email us,
I was-
workhard@hyperpremium.co.
It was more of a judgment on them for doing it at all because he gives terrible advice.
Oh, okay.
So I realized I was kind of
You told me a guy
I was
named-
throwing shade at us at the same time accidentally. I realized it as I was saying it. I was like, people on the radio giving advice.
Yeah. Idiots. Broadcasters thinking
Yeah.
that they know. Yeah. I can't imagine that a guy named Bobby Bones gives the best advice in the world.
Bobby Bone Show.
That's how he talks?
No, not him.
Oh.
No, it's just the little cut segments that they use
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
the time. No, thankfully that's not how he talks. I would
Okay,
not listen to it.
So Bobby Bones was giving advice? Is that
So somebody, what was this? Oh, so some gal writes in saying that this job, I don't even remember what the job is that she's starting, but for some reason it's encouraged that they wear yoga pants to work. There was some reason for it that was
She's
reason-
probably like a bartender or something.
No, it wasn't. It was not a gross reason. It was a very utilitarian or practical reason.
Oh, okay.
It was.
That's
oh,
nice.
I know what it was. It was for security searches because they had to go in and out of security areas, and so it was to not have non-metal.
Ah,
That's why. So
okay.
they said sweatpants or yoga pants would be better, just for getting through security easier without having to take off metal or Anyway,
Yes.
it would save a lot of time.
Yeah.
So that's what the employees were told they could do. It wasn't that they had to.
Right.
But the wife went out and bought some yoga pants
Right.
that were apparently fairly tight, and
Of course.
some are way worse than others.
That's true. Some are way worse than
But
others.
the husband, I guess, got into an argument with her, saying like, you shouldn't go around, you can't go around wearing those because, quote, every guy is going to see what you got.
It's
So
reasonable.
reasonable, right? From a conservative viewpoint. And of course, most of the show hosts on the Bobby Bones show did not agree with the
Obviously,
husband
yeah.
and were siding with this woman. So anyway,
Excellent.
she was. I guess she's had other arguments about clothing and this and that, like I'm not allowed to show any cleavage, yada yada yada, blah blah blah.
What an act of oppression.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not allowed to show any cleavage.
I know. Well, I suppose the argument would be that some dresses are just really pretty and they happen to show a little bit of cleavage, even if that's not the main point to the woman, to the naive or liberated woman.
Yeah, we can call him
Anyway,
liberated.
so Bobby Bones was fairly fair for being. He didn't have a personal. He didn't go all out on the husband or anything.
That's good.
What he actually did, and he's pretty fair-minded this way because for being a mainstream person and not at all conservative or religious as far as I can tell, he said while he doesn't personally agree with the husband, it's also like, he's like, did you know who you married? His point was like, did
Yeah.
you know who you married? Like, if you guys have had other conversations, like, this is not something that's going to just be brushed over easily, and it's going to, if you want to make this your battle, it's going to be a long, drawn-out battle
Right.
to get this, to be able to do these, to wear these sorts of things.
Yeah.
So he's like, I wouldn't do that to my wife, He said, so bits like that, like, I wouldn't do that to my wife.
What a
So
noble, what a hero.
I was, I was a little peeved
Yeah.
that you wouldn't do that to your wife. It's like, how about what you wouldn't do to her is allow her to expose herself to many prying male eyes.
Right. Right. Exactly. Why don't you protect her? Yeah. Dude.
My wife is extremely modest
Yes.
by nature.
Yeah.
But I will say there is a naivety, I think, among younger ladies possibly, or just maybe certain personality types that aren't inclined that way to think this way. But like, you can see cleavage down a lot of different shirts when a gal is bent over that the gal does not probably realize she's showing as much as she is. Like, you could see down to somebody's belly button, even if there's no cleavage at all visible when you're standing straight up. If it's loose enough and you bend over at the right angle,
Right.
like, you could see straight on down if
Yeah.
you were right in front of them. And so I think it's a lot of it, for my wife, was just an awareness and training. It's
Yeah.
like we're at home getting ready for church, basically. And I'd be like, oh, you know, when you bend over just a little bit, I can see just about everything, hon. I was like, I know that dress looks really modest standing upright in the mirror, and it is, but you can't bend over in front of anybody. Or at least you got to clasp your hand to your chest gently, you know. Have you seen that move? Ladies doing that?
Of course, yes.
The little hand clasp. Such a
no,
sweet, modest thing. That
no 22-year-old girl knows
fun.
to do it, but at age 30, every girl starts hitting the hand over the chest on the bend down.
Yeah. So if you do have something that's a little bit looser, you need to teach her to do that.
Yeah.
And to be aware of her surroundings. Like if there's a bunch of guys, especially young guys, in that direction, don't bend over in their direction.
Right.
Do it to the side. Like pick a group of ladies and bend over towards them if you have to pick up a toy off the floor.
Right. And that's not even, I mean, one of the things I want to point out here is it's not even like, we're not even saying that that every guy is some sort of predator just hoping to catch a glance, you know? It's for them too.
Yeah.
As much as it is for, like, you're helping them, you know,
right.
because they have like, it's for, if there is any women listening to this, like, one thing you got to understand about guys is that we have like automatic responses that we cannot control. That are,
I should say strong impulses.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, strong impulses that
you
takes
can control
a
the
lot.
Second thought or the second look.
Right.
But it's sure not helpful once the mental image is going.
Right.
It's in there forever.
And then the guy, if he's rightly ordered, the man will feel very ashamed and feel embarrassed and like, oh, dang it, I shouldn't have seen that, or I shouldn't. Any thought that may occur after that, or anything at all, you have this like and so you're being helpful to them too,
like, especially in like a Christian circle where it's like a Christian sister.
Right, exactly.
Like, that makes it so much worse.
Right. I personally very much appreciate the efforts of all the women in our environment at being modest. Mm-hmm. I personally am very happy, very grateful for them doing that. It makes it so much better.
Let's say the exact opposite of that is going to the mall.
Yes.
Which is why I just avoid going to malls.
I just don't. You can't.
For one, there's not really much good reason in my mind to go to a mall, period.
Right.
But seeing 17-year-olds in like belly shirts and low-cut tops and whatever else.
Daisy Dukes
and whatever else is also an excellent second reason for not going to a mall.
Yeah.
And provoking my mind inflaming your mind with those sorts of things.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's so I had this this is not exactly on the topic, but I'll say this and then we can really dive into it. But I just yesterday was my last day at my last job. I'm starting my new job on Monday, but one of my coworkers the other day, we were in a Zoom call. And it's a Zoom call, dude. Okay? How easy would it be to keep your tits put away in a Zoom call?
It's a coworker, you said?
Yeah, coworker. It should be pretty easy to keep your boobies put up in a Zoom call.
Yeah, because you're sitting upright.
You're sitting upright.
So there's not even the accidental lean over thing.
Right, no accidental lean over. You can
and you can see your mini self.
Right. You know what you look
like.
You know exactly what you look like the whole time.
Yeah.
You can adjust your camera so that it's like just your shoulders and head. You don't have to do this, but she's sitting there in this Zoom call and she's got a shirt, bro. It's such a deep cut that it was like comical. Like I almost was like smiling in the Zoom call. Like this, it looks like something. It looks like something out of a comedy sketch, out of somebody making fun of a woman for wearing a deep cut shirt. Like that's how deep cut this shirt was.
Did you ever see? There was a comedy sketch about V-necks, about guys V-necks basically, and it was eventually just like a whole split down the middle shirt,
right
it's like down to the belt line.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of
like it's a deep V. Yeah, I don't remember how the skit went, but yes,
yes, dude. I mean, and that's kind of what it was like. I mean, it's like, you know, to a certain extent, like I have this like sense of like wanting to give women the benefit of the doubt when it comes to this stuff, because it's like they go into a store and are trying to buy a blouse, and it's just that's what they're all like,
Yeah.
How can you not get that? And all other girls wear it, and they don't have these same moral
Right. So you end up looking like a. Well, it makes you really stick out.
Right.
Which is uncomfortable.
Right, which is uncomfortable. So of course you're gonna dress, in a somewhat revealing
Somewhat
manner.
stylish.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah, and to some extent that's unavoidable. But then it's like when these things occur, I'm like, dude, you are how can it be anything else other than you are literally trying to show everyone your boobs? I don't know how else to interpret it. If I saw the equivalent action in anything as that shirt, like if I saw somebody running super fast, I would go, they're trying to run fast.
Right.
They're not doing that on accident. It's absurd. I don't get it. I guess I do get it because Doug Wilson, again with the Doug Wilson quotes, but Doug Wilson has a really good quote where he talks about how men are really good at wanting. Men are really good at wanting things.
Okay.
And women really want to be wanted. They want to be desired. They want to be the object of desire.
Gotcha.
So I get where that comes from, and
right.
I do understand it.
And so when it's not directed in the proper way, the proper direction or towards one man, to where they are putting all their energy into being wanted by one man, just like that one man should bend all of his desire into wanting that one woman.
Right.
So don't flare it out just like a man should not go and spread his seed to everybody who will possibly allow him.
Yeah.
Neither should the woman go and advertise her eggs to virtually everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like one of the things that's so tragic is it's like, and this is just the tragedy of the age, man. It's just like everybody wants this, like they want something, and if I had more brain power, maybe I could more clearly articulate what it is that they want. But everybody wants something, and they all are doing this like modern, immoral, degenerate way of trying to get it. But in reality, what they want to have is so much more easily and readily available if they just would do things our way. And what I mean by that is like you have sluts who are walking around like sluts. Mm-hmm. And I spent tons of time in Austin, going to the bars, hanging out. Tons of sluts everywhere. Lots of pretty sluts. Many times I clocked one and went, that's a pretty slut. But in my head, I thought, slut.
Also slut.
Also slut, yeah. I did not go, what a woman of value.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I want to put a ring on that.
Right. But
it may well have been slapped out of your hand.
Right. And but then one time before I met my wife, I was delivering food just for extra money on the side in Austin, and I delivered food to this house. It was a nice house in a nice neighborhood, and I knocked on the door, whatever, and I kind of leaned down for a second I don't remember what I was doing, but the lady opened the door, and I just like came in contact with, I was like looking at her knees, and I stood up, and she had this dress, she had a dress on, like a very modest dress. I stood up, and she was dressed very modestly in this like very nice, pretty dress, and I just like looked up at her, and just her entire aura was very very reserved, modest. She was very well made. Her haircut was nice. She looked very pretty, and it was such a
stark,
dude. It was like I was
Jarring.
like, I have your food, and she was like, okay. I was like, why are you like? I was just so
like,
not
I'm
ready
sorry.
for it.
I've been around so many sluts.
Yeah, exactly.
Lately.
Yeah, and I was, and for real,
I wasn't prepared for a real woman.
Yeah, and I got in the car, and my like heart ached for her.
Yeah,
like I was like,
I wonder if it'd be inappropriate if I went back and proposed.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, dude, I understand why wars get fought now.
Yeah,
and
it clicked.
Yeah,
it wasn't because everyone was going around spreading their legs for one another easily.
Yeah, it was for women like this. Yeah. And so yeah, like if you want to be,
I feel like it wouldn't be inappropriate just to say, "I'm sorry, you're just so very pretty."
I don't think
respectfully, you are a beautiful woman. Here's your food.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to let you know. Like,
I was not ready for you.
Yes, you're very nice looking.
Have a good day.
Yeah, have a good day.
I'm going to get out of here
as
quickly as I possibly
can.
can.
Not hitting on you, just acknowledging that you are quite lovely.
Yeah, and lovely is exactly the word. Lovely is
lovely is the word.
Yeah.
Not sexy, not hot.
Right.
Lovely.
Although it is, if you have a wife, it is a bonus that she could turn the sexy switch on, for you.
Sure.
But
icing on the cake.
Yeah, icing on the cake. Exactly. Yeah. So, but I think the bulk of our topic today. What?
Just reminds me of our we had engagement photos done, and our photographer, who was a lady from our church at the time, told my wife to quote, what did she say? Like, bring out her inner sex kitten for one of the photos.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness, dude! My toes would have curled up into my butthole. That's how hard I would have cringed at that.
And yeah,
I would have had to leave the room.
And my wife was like,
I can't even imagine.
She's like, a what kitten?
Did she get bright red?
I don't remember.
That's crazy. I can't even imagine anybody ever saying that to someone like your wife.
Yeah, hilarious.
That person can't read the room at all.
She was a very nice. I think she. It puts her in a bad light. I don't mean to put her in a bad light. It was more meant to be funny. That it was so.
That's
like.
I mean, that is that's insane. Yeah. How old was she?
The lady?
Yeah.
She was in her 30s and we were in our 20s, I think.
She was in her 30s?
Yeah.
Dang, that's crazy.
Maybe early 40s, maybe. Yeah.
That's crazy. That does remind me. There's a really Charles Carroll. Charles Carroll is one of the comedians that's a part of that troupe that I really like, MDE. Sam Hyde. He has a really great saying, which is that there are no cool women. There are no cool women, and there are no sexy men. That isn't real. That's not a real thing.
A cool woman.
There's no cool women.
Uh-huh.
And there are no sexy men. If you are a woman and you become cool, you are now a man. And if you're a man and you become sexy, you're a woman. That's what you are now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's taken a really hardline approach to vocabulary.
Yeah.
Which I'm not 100% against.
Yeah. Not always, yeah.
No, not always. So where's this? Maybe we get back to...
Yeah, let's circle back.
Talking about why you as the husband should have a say in your wife's modesty, and why this gal writing in should have said, okay, I'll wear baggy sweatpants.
Yeah.
Or I'll go through the hassle of wearing the jeans with the little brads on them, and I'll just have to go through security.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to show my entire butt and maybe even everything in front in vivid outline. Like, I don't. Yeah, like you're saying, I don't understand.
Yeah.
It blows my mind the amount that some women are willing to show.
And then complain about it.
And then it's... Well, that makes me want to go berserk.
Right.
What the people who want to put it all on display and then complain when they get the sort of attention that action deserves.
Right.
And is deliberately eliciting.
Right. Yeah, that's what you're asking for.
That is the signal that you're sending, and you're surprised when someone signals back.
Right.
That they are equally ready to jump into the depravity pool with you.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
I'm doing this for my girlfriends.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. It's for other girls. Hey, it's not for you. It's for other girls. We're doing it for the girls.
Yeah. Really. Or translation, just for the right guy at the right time.
Right. I'm doing it for the girls, which means for the guy that I think is cute.
Yeah.
That I want to
for
lust
the guy
after.
That I think is sexy.
Yeah, I think it's sexy.
Because I'm a cool girl.
I'm a cool girl, and he's a sexy guy, and we're gonna hang out, and he's gonna have sex with me, and then never call me back, and I'm gonna be like, guys are worthless. But it's me. I'm the one that's worthless, and that's why he didn't call me back, because I have no value, because I've rendered myself worthless.
It's very sad.
Yeah, it is. It's tragic. It's like heartbreaking.
It's really sad. So, I mean, at first I'm frustrated, and then I'm just like, why?
Right, no.
Why don't you want to be modest, ladies?
I know. Why don't you want to be modest?
Why do you want to be wanted by everybody?
Yeah. So
I don't like the part of me that wants to seed every woman.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I don't like the part of me that, yeah, yeah, that's a great point.
So I used to describe it to a friend of mine as, so there was like, I described him as caveman Jason.
Yes.
It was just kind of this Neanderthal, like, ugh, good.
Bust nut.
Yeah,
yeah.
Chase down, club woman overhead, take back to cave.
Right, yeah,
It's like, doesn't matter who.
Yeah.
Must produce offspring.
Yeah, exactly.
Must satisfy desires.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Like we're taught, men are taught not to enjoy that part of ourselves, but that part of us is the equivalent in women of wanting to wear a low-cut top. It's the same thing.
To get attention.
Yeah, it's the same thing. So guess what? I mean, if you just want to improve your life, put some freaking clothes on, dude. And listen to your husbands, which is what we're really trying to talk about today.
Right. So then obviously we're primarily talking to husbands or young men who are looking for girls. And so you need to use this as a metric in evaluating the young ladies you're evaluating before you're married, and making sure you're not marrying somebody who is prone to wearing low-cut tops. Or, as we'll get into next episode, possibly, topics of, or maybe later in this episode, maybe we'll just blend this in.
Yeah, if we run out of stuff to talk
anyway,
about.
Yeah. We're going to talk about discussions that you should have as an engaged, during engagement or during courtship and dating, that you should have before actually deciding to get married. So I'm sorry, not during engagement. These are pre-engagement. These are before you actually decide. So to define it really clearly, you start dating or courting a girl, which is the get to know you process.
Right. Coffee.
That's where you're not supposed to get emotionally involved, because once you get emotionally involved, you can't make good decisions.
Right.
You can no longer objectively come across what you would have previously viewed as a deal breaker without saying, well, maybe it'll be fine. We could work around that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not, I was blowing it out of proportion.
I can fix her.
Or that, or I can change her, or you just give it up entirely.
She can fix me.
Yeah, maybe I'm the problem.
Yeah.
That's not to say that you shouldn't be careful about what you view as an actual deal breaker. You could have a bunch of really stupid preferences.
Right.
That you say are, well, it's a deal breaker if she likes the color orange, It's like, well, you should change that one, you moron.
Yeah.
If she doesn't like watching football with me, I don't. I'm not gonna.
She's not a butch.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So there are bad deal breakers, but talking about deal breakers are things that matter and they're going to influence how you raise children, mostly.
Yeah.
How you raise children and how you go. Like modesty would be one of them.
Right.
So it might not even be a conversation you need to have if she's always wearing, turtlenecks and floor-length dresses. You're like, I think we're probably okay.
Yeah, I got that covered.
Got that, like all of us covered.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't know what her wrists look like.
Yeah, it's all covered. Yeah. In fact, I think
she
we
has
might
very
need
nice fingers.
Yeah, I need to make sure she's never been to a mosque. Consider how many
Exactly.
clothes.
Yeah, maybe we're talking about something else then.
Yeah, maybe we're going too far in the other direction. Yeah.
So, but modesty, you are your wife's protector.
Yes.
And I believe it's the Apostle Paul talks about, this is more relating to sex, but I think it applies also to modesty very, very easily. Your body is not your own. I wish I'd looked up the verse so I could actually quote it to you. Sorry, this is paraphrasing, but to the husband, your body is not your own, and to the wife, your body is not your own. Right. Your bodies belong to each other.
Right.
And so, which is why you're not allowed to masturbate. You need to share. You need to let your wife pleasure you, and your wife shouldn't be masturbating. You should be pleasuring her.
Right.
You should be using sexual desire to join you together, not do things separately.
Right. And that extrapolates out to what you wear.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Because if her body is yours effectively, then you should protect it.
Right.
And if you have a desire to show off your wife beyond what is appropriate, that's a fine line. Obviously, there's maybe a strong male inclination to be like, look at my hot wife, or look
I
at my
struggle with
wife
that one.
who's very pretty,
Yeah.
gonna make all the other guys jealous.
Yep.
Look what I was able to marry.
Yep.
Look what I get to sleep with. You
Yep.
know.
Yep. Yep. Had
so-
to do some repenting on that front myself.
Yeah. So, but you must not allow that to bleed into, well, yeah, it's all right if she wears that really tight thing or that low cut thing, because I know all my guy friends are going to be really jealous. Be like, wow, look at her boobs. you
Right.
know, And then wish that they had my wife. So what you're doing is not just allowing your wife's beauty to be showcased in an appropriate manner. It's like for the glory of God, showing like here's a beautiful creature that God has created, but not stirring up sexual desire.
Right.
And that's probably a cultural line, which is a big gray area, and we won't really get into that. But you know what your cultural expectations are just from how you were raised.
Right.
And I should think that your cultural expectations should be a lot tighter if you're a Christian. They should be on the very conservative, traditional side of things.
Oh yeah.
And bordering on your wife being unstylish. Sorry. It's hard.
Yeah. Sometimes that is
difficult.
going to be the case.
No, like, I notice when girls are wearing loose jeans. Do you notice that? You go, those are some baggy jeans.
Loose jeans are kind of coming back in.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
So not so much anymore, but yeah. I
But I mean,
understand
that
the
stood
spirit
out.
of what you're saying. I
That
understand.
stood out
Yes.
as unusual.
Right.
I'd clock it and be like,
Yes.
conservative gal.
Yeah. How nice.
Yeah.
Looks a little weird,
I was like,
but how
it's
nice.
weird that I can't see the shape of your butt.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
But that shouldn't be weird to me.
Yeah. It should.
I don't want that to be weird.
Right.
That I don't know the general shape of everybody in my circle's butts.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, why is that?
Yeah.
Why is that the norm?
Yeah. I don't have much of an interest in knowing the geography of my friend's wife's body, dude. I'm sorry. I don't want to know.
Yeah. It's not helpful.
Yeah. It's not. It doesn't help me in my life at all.
No, it
It
does.
retards my ability to be friends with my boy. It's not good. I don't like it.
Yeah. Very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Where is I going with this?
Well, I think we're going in general, or the direction we at least originally planned to take this was, is Bobby Bones right in being like, oh, I would never do that to my wife? Like, what role does the husband really play here in deciding what his wife's going to wear?
So we've showed that it's biblical.
Right.
It's biblical to protect your wife, and it's also biblical that your wife's body belongs to you, just like your body belongs to her.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't even think
So it goes both ways for those of you who would jump on us and be like, wow, that's and think that it's some sort of ownership thing, like your wife is a slave.
Oh,
The people
yeah.
who would, our culture would balk at this horribly. That's why I'm saying it goes both ways.
Right.
It's an equal.
Okay. Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
I mean, yeah. I don't think
Obviously, it plays out in the clothing a whole lot more one direction than it does the other.
right.
It
Yeah.
plays out differently for the man. Is that like your eyes belong to your wife, and you
Yeah.
shouldn't be.
Well,
You need to guard your eyes as much as possible.
Another thing you could say that's like it goes both ways is like a kind of an equivalent example is that a man, you ought to be home at night.
Okay.
You know, like you're opening up. If your wife is gonna, hey guys, if you don't believe me, just try it. Stay out till 11 p.m.
Okay.
See what happens. see how many phone calls you get.
Oh, you mean the anxiety?
You're right. Like your wife doesn't want you out that late. She's worried about you. She's worried you're going to get hurt. And it's 11 p.m., dude. It's getting late. You've been drinking. What happens?
Bad decision.
Right. It's bad decision hour.
There's a lot of sluts around.
There's a lot of sluts around these days, bro.
Can't swing a dead cat without hitting a slut.
You can't, dude. You can't.
There's a T-shirt for you.
There's a T-shirt for you, dude. That's a great T-shirt.
I just love the stick figure idea, like having a cat.
Yeah.
Like just leaving somebody's hand and like beating a slut in the head.
Just a stick figure with gigantic boobs drawn on it.
How about just a block, like how they used to blur, before blurring, They had the
just
block.
just
explicit.
the block.
Oh, it said explicit, didn't it? It was like a black block.
Yeah, and just instead of explicit, it says slut.
No, I'm just saying, so you don't have to have cartoon boobs on your shirt.
Oh, right.
That's why I'm avoiding that.
Oh, yes. Yes. So, what are we doing?
That T-shirt would sell
This
like
is
hotcakes.
podcasting, dude. We're podcasting right now. Welcome to podcasting. This is premium entertainment. What the hell are we talking about, dude?
So Bobby Bones is wrong.
Yeah, the Bobby Bones is wrong.
Bobby Bones does not protect his wife.
Does not protect his wife.
Bobby Bones, if you want to send an email to us, I'm sure you have lots of time to respond to these sorts of podcasts that are criticizing you for your moral opinions on women's modesty.
I'm sure you'll also hear this. You can also fight me. I'll fight you.
You wouldn't. I've seen a picture of him. You wouldn't. He wouldn't fight you.
Oh, okay.
He's not that type.
Oh, okay.
For a name like Bobby Bones, he's like a very stylishly dressed, shrimpy little dude.
Oh, okay. That's gay.
No
well,
kids.
I'll just give that. That's a standing offer to anybody who disagrees with me on this topic. I'll fight you. You shouldn't.
What a generous offer.
Email us. Work hard at hyperpremium.co. I'll fight you.
We have an alley.
I know several promoters. We can get it licensed in Texas and in Florida pretty quickly. So just let me know. I'll pay for your plane ticket. But you have to let me record it. I have to. It's content. You have to let me record me knocking you out, which is what's going to happen. So.
Nice. There we go.
Yeah. I will.
I'm sure anybody who disagreed listened this far in the podcast.
Yeah. So yeah, Bobby Bones is not protecting his wife, and that is the role of a husband, and yeah, it is biblical. Like, and I think that like, I on the internet you see so many people arguing from a Christian angle against us saying this stuff, which is confusing because I just don't. I mean, just logically speaking, like the Bible is very clear about modesty and saving yourself for your wife or your husband, and the Bible is also very clear about the headship of men. So we just do some simple math here. A plus B equals C. Who's in charge? Like who? Yeah. Who's deciding who's wearing what?
Yeah.
It's a non-starter. You know. I mean, it's one of these things. It's just, and maybe if I was. Maybe if I had the full capacity in my brain, I could make a more coherent argument for that. But I just don't. I don't. There's just so many things I've seen this week. Maybe it's just because I'm so tired. But it's like so many things I've seen this week where I'm just like, how are we? This isn't even actually an argument. This isn't a discussion. This is not a.
No, it's just willful disobedience.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's willful desire not to be at odds with the culture. It's a fear of going against the flow. It's a fear of going against peer pressure, I think, is what it is.
I wish it was. I think you're right. Yes, to a certain extent, I think you're right. But I think even that extends like too much good faith to them. You know what I mean? I think people want to sin. Like people just.
Sure. No. Okay. Yeah. There's that.
They just want like a girl wants to like I want guys ogling me and a guy wants
to ogle.
Uh-huh. He wants to sweet walls, which. I understand, dude, but you gotta focus that energy.
They are sweet, but you only need one set of walls.
Yeah,
you only need one house.
You only need one house, baby. You only need one house, and you just
to park your car in.
Yeah, exactly.
Garage, exactly. I guess. Don't park your car in the house.
Yeah.
This analogy is getting out of hand.
Yeah, I've just started thinking
through what that.
I was going to take it too far.
Yeah, I almost did. Pulled up just shy.
Yeah, we'll stop there.
Keep this episode PG-13.
Yeah. As always. I guess not as always. So yeah, I mean, I think the I'm just trying to think. I'm trying to run through in my head the arguments that I hear against this. Like, I guess let's take this like independence angle. Let's talk about that for a second, because you have that like I'm an independent woman. I'm my own woman. I can go do whatever I want. Like he can't tell me what to do.
Right.
my question to you is, why did you get married?
Yeah, why are you married?
Why are you married?
It doesn't make sense for anybody in our society to be married unless they're a believer.
Yeah, what does marriage even mean to you at that point? What does it, is it just...
I think all it is sentimentality.
Yeah.
That's all that's left for them is sentimentality and the desire for a party.
I mean, it is. It's sentimentality. Yeah, it's like, why I really do think we got to roll back. There are most people should not be allowed to vote because they're just. It's all sentimentality. It's just like all what I feel, all what I want, all what I feel, all the time, and it just what is marriage if it's not. If it doesn't give him permission to be like, hey, don't wear that, what does it give him permission to do? Because if you were
really on it, to park his car when you feel like opening the garage door.
Exactly. Yeah. But maybe
when you want the garage door open.
Yeah, but even then, let's be honest about that. Let's be honest about the types of girls who are saying that kind of thing. He can't tell me what to wear.
Yeah.
What were they doing before they got married? They're probably already living together. They probably had already had so much sex they'd stopped having sex.
Right.
Which is very funny. Hey, you want to know a pretty funny stat? Non-Christian, long-lasting relationships are like almost entirely sexless, statistically speaking. Long-lasting Christian relationships are almost more sexual than the like starting phases of any relationship. So like 40-year-old Christian couples have more sex than like 20-year-old couples, or have like just as much sex as 20-year-old couples.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's, what is it that you think marriage is? What is it that you want from your man? Like, honestly, what is it? Like, you don't want a man. You don't want a guy who has the willpower and strength to manage you. That's not what you want. You want you want to be married to a lesbian with a penis? That's what you want. Like, you just want this infantile guy that's like, oh, okay. He's uncomfortable that you're wearing underwear to the gym.
Right.
I mean, dude, have you seen that? Have you seen that trend? I wouldn't be surprised.
Actual underwear, not just like sports stuff that's equivalent to underwear?
Yeah, stuff that's equivalent to underwear. Like, have you seen what girls wear to the gym? Have you been in a gym in the last 10 years?
No. But yeah.
Yeah.
I'm aware of what some stuff looks like.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's like it's a bra, and the tightest. The leggings are literally, when they take them off and like the legging is just suspended in the air. It's stitched. There's a stitch running up the butt crack.
Oh, to make it tighter,
so that it will suck into
like
the butt crack. Yes, like a thong. So each cheek is elevated and lifted individually. Think about that in your head, okay?
I'm trying not to too much.
Well, yeah, it's actually true. Sorry, don't think about that in your head. Don't think about that in your head. Think about the pant. Think about the pant in and of itself.
Yeah.
And so, like, first of all, your guys, it's weird that he's put out by that. First of all, how dare he?
He's so possessive.
Yeah, why is he so possessive?
Oh, and codependent.
Yeah, and
it's really codependent.
Yeah, it's really codependent for you to be upset that I'm showing.
Marriage is codependency, you morons.
Yeah, yeah. You are dependent.
Retards.
Yeah.
What do you think marriage is?
Yeah, you are dependent on each other.
You're just cohabitating.
Yeah,
that's all you think it is your roommates who have less and less sex.
Right. Yes, until you don't, and then you break up, and then
you're like, well, now it's an open relationship and we are seeing other people.
Right. And
so we sleep with other people, but for some reason we still pay rent together?
Yeah. And then you throw kids into the mix and ruin their lives, which is absurd. Dude, I mean, just don't have kids, man. I'm sorry. Have kids, give them to us if really you want to go through that process. And then right before you ruin their lives, give them to us. We'll take them. We'll make their life better.
Yep. Contact us. Okay. Yeah. So here's a real thing. Email us. If you have an unwanted pregnancy or know of an unwanted pregnancy, seriously contact Work Hard and we will find a home for the baby.
Yes.
We will do everything in our power to find a home for the baby.
Including take it.
Yeah.
I will at least.
Yeah.
We have room for a baby.
I put that on Facebook years ago.
Yeah.
That invitation that we would take a baby, and then she was very nice when she started working for my old company, but then became more and more radically. She was a lesbian from the start, but she was more and more radically leftist.
Yeah.
And then got into a big argument with her on Facebook over something else, and she recalled that I had said that and mocked me for it in the post. What? That I had offered to like take babies, and I was like, yeah, and I'd still do it.
Yeah.
So like, why are you what? Well, I don't understand what's to be mocked. I don't understand. Like, what are you making fun of?
I'm so committed to what I'm saying that I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is, literally.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Because the criticism I always came across was like, well, Christians don't actually, they just don't. They're like burdening these women with it. It's like, no, Christians should be willing to take those babies. So you can't even make the argument that they're being burdened with it.
Right.
Yeah, you still have to carry the baby to term. Gee, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Shouldn't have. Yeah. Also, yeah. Hey, lady. Hey, lady. There's a really easy way to avoid that.
Yeah.
And it starts with not wearing
yoga pants with a butt stitch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's step one.
Butt sucking yoga pants.
Not having your actual asshole on display at the gym is a great way to start. I'll mark that one.
You can.
How do you mark? Damn it. What do you press the marker?
I don't know. Just look at the time. 51 minutes.
Nah, we got it. Okay.
All right. Sometimes it's worse when you bleep something.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it's like your imagination.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes I'm careful with that too. Because I had that thought recently where I was like, I said something and I went to bleep it and it was like, oh, it's kind of gonna sound like I could be saying something different, and so I left the beginning of the word in.
Oh, so they could tell.
So yeah, people knew it was the F word, but it was like, but it didn't say the word. It's like,
gotcha.
Beep,
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you want? Like, what do you think marriage is? What do you want? I just don't. I guess there's just a disconnect here, man. And this is, I think, this is kind of a thought that's off topic, but I think that this is just like more and more sign that it's like the culture is dividing in a way that I don't see being repairable and reconcilable. Like there are fast becoming two Americas. And I don't see, because can you imagine trying to have just a regular girl sit and listen to this? Not one of our wives, just pluck a regular girl.
Oh, gotcha. Random girl from America.
Yeah, from just your work or whatever, or from my work or whatever. Would not be a regular girl at your work. That'd be straight up dyke status.
Yeah. I have not seen
toughest possible girl.
I haven't seen one single woman in an air conditioning vehicle.
Right. Yeah, of course not. Yeah,
in 2+ years.
Lot of talk about equity.
A single
in that.
one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But if I were to just like take a regular person, like I could, for this episode, I bet I could get fired. I bet. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. If it was brought to light.
Right. And so it's just like, what are we going to do? Like, we can't talk to each other anymore. We're like, the only thing I can think to do, and I've had conversations with people that are like, either like way out there as far as just like totally captured by modernity. And the kind of the only angle I've ever been able to get them on is like, just said like, aren't you a like chronically depressed 22-year-old who has no future? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, you don't see. But
you're fighting for this future,
right? Exactly. Like you're
arguing with me over saying this is what you want.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't see any correlation between the way you live your life and and how miserable you are. Like you don't see those things as being correlated at all. And they don't. No, I don't, because it's rich people. It's rich people.
Okay.
It's someone else's. It's someone doing this to me. This is being done
because
upon me.
Because that's what they've been taught.
Right.
They've been indoctrinated with that
Yeah.
crap.
And it's
And
me.
they took logic out of school.
Right, they took logic out of schools, and it's also it's us. It's rich people and Christians are making me miserable. If rich people and Christians would go away, then I would feel great about
being in a 3-way relationship.
Yeah, I
trannies.
just went through so many I was trying to think of something to say that was reasonable to say, and I couldn't think of anything to say.
And the fact that I brought up something like that, and that was the tame version.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. That polyamory is the tame thing
with
to say.
trannies.
Yeah, being a furry or whatever.
That's the stupidest, grossest thing.
It's so crazy. Dude.
I don't understand.
It's so crazy.
Oh my goodness.
I don't. Oh, man, the people are hurting, dude. People are hurting. People are really hurting. And they don't. I mean, I guess the thing I'm saying here is that they don't. They do not see their lifestyles as having any contribution towards their misery. And
so this is interactions you have with people online.
Yeah, not even necessarily people online, just friends.
Oh, really?
You know, because I have a lot of normie friends. Like I have a lot of friends from college, and then I have friends online from like gaming and stuff, and those guys are all fried.
Are they?
Like they're just because even if they're not like Twitch.tv viewers, which is like
is that Twitch streaming, like the
video game streaming.
Yeah,
that's the most devoid medium that has ever existed.
Really?
Twitch streaming is video game streaming. I think can be okay if it's like if it's used in complement to like something else that you're doing. So if like you're a painter and you like to stream your paintings as a way to like supplemental, get income in between selling your paintings or whatever, or you're like.
So you would videotape, just watch.
There are a lot of people that like do that
painting?
on Twitch. They paint, so they'll like start their painting for the day.
Oh,
and they're working on a painting for
right.
Like a real painter works on a painting for months.
Yeah.
And so they'll just start their painting for every day. They'll come into their studio. They have a streaming rig. They fire it up, and then they just paint. And they just talk to people in the chat while they're doing their painting. And people will donate to them and ask them painting questions and all that stuff. And so they get to supplement their income.
Huh. Okay.
So I think that's
because it's really hard to sell paintings.
Yeah, but I mean, even good painters, like somebody who's a good painter can, they can spend a few months making a painting and sell it for enough money to survive.
That's crazy. There's that many people buying fine art.
Yeah, I think so. But I think also that if you're like a skilled painter, I think the money, most of the money is working on commissions for like corporate stuff.
Oh.
So like somebody has like a lobby or something that they want art for, and so
they'll
pay you $40,000 to make 3 big pieces.
I see.
And they'll put it in their lobby.
Gotcha.
I think that's mostly what it is.
Okay.
But
I was thinking rich people's houses.
Probably that too. I would imagine that too. I mean, Elon Musk has got to get all that art from somewhere. So I think streaming is not. I'm not trying to like totally dog on streaming, but if you're like a full-time streamer, there are people. There's this guy named Hassan Piker, and his every day all he does, he turns on his stream, and then for like 10,000 people for like 12 hours is he just goes on the internet
and plays video games.
Maybe a little.
Oh,
but no, for real, just goes on the internet. Just like watching YouTube videos, looking at Twitter, and then it's just like, that's racist. This is dumb, and like that's it. That's his whole thing for like hours, and then like people will for like IRL and in real life, his friends will like come in and sit down and be like, "Hey, what's up?" And they'll just be like, "What's going on?"
So it's just like the it's like the Truman Show.
Yes.
But he knows the camera's there.
Right.
He's the one profiting, not the corporation.
Right.
That's insane.
Yeah. Totally devoid of any. Because they are lonely. Because you can fire it up and you can sit there and work, and it feels like there's someone in the room with you, hanging out.
Oh, I see.
Looking at the internet with you. That's why. That's what it is.
That's really depressing.
Yeah.
The Truman Show called it.
Yep.
Because they
Called
talked about like how because they filmed him while he was sleeping too,
Yeah.
and said that some people just find him comforting
Yeah.
because
Exactly.
he sleeps so well and like he's peaceful.
Right.
So they play some piano music and whatnot. So there's more production put into it than this guy sounds like.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's it. So that's streaming. And so some of these guys are like, some of the kids I talked to are like Hassan Piker dudes who just like sit and watch. And he's not the only one that does that. That's like the majority of streamers at this point.
I will say I understand a little bit just because I can get sucked into watching YouTube videos that are really empty out of boredom or
Yeah.
Yeah, just boredom.
Yeah,
like if I don't have anything that is taking my attention and I'm left being like, I'm not sure what to do with my time right now, and I get sucked into a YouTube vortex.
Yeah.
Like, 30 minutes later, I'm like, oh, feel like I just ate like
7 burgers.
several bags of Skittles.
Yeah.
I feel terrible.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So but even then, like the monotony is not even the worst part of it. It's the like when you're looking at a screen. So when you're looking at we're at an hour, so we can wrap this up. But when you're looking at a screen, especially like an LED screen, your eyes get tired really fast. It's like all the muscles in your eyes get really, really tired, like within the first few minutes.
Really?
Yeah, and then and when your eyes are tired, it makes you like it makes you way more suggestible to new ideas. So
awesome.
Yeah, so if you're staring at an LED screen.
How odd that we switched over to using computers in public schools.
Right.
I'm sure that doesn't have anything to do with it.
Right, nothing to do with it. So these kids that I know,
the algorithm can suggest things to you that you wouldn't pick out of the air, and you're like, "Oh, I'll click on it."
Yeah. I think the algorithm is more reactive to what you do.
Right, but it still suggests semi-related things, or sometimes throws a curveball.
Yeah.
Just to, I think,
see if keep you on the hook. Yeah.
Well, or just to see like, does he like this?
Yeah.
Here's another venue, like another
people who watch
category.
This, watch this.
Right.
Yeah. So these guys, these kids that I know, at least, I mean, some of these kids I know, it's all of them, all of them. They'll, they're playing video games all day, or they're doing their like very, very pointless entry level like paper pushing computer job, and they've got Hassan Piker in their ear while they're looking at these, being hypnotized. While they're being hypnotized by the screen, they're listening to Hassan Piker be like, "What? You think you can tell your girlfriend not to have an OnlyFans? What are you, sexist?" And then they go out into real life and they're like, "Yeah, why would I be allowed to tell my girlfriend she can have an OnlyFans?" And then even if for the most part those guys don't have girlfriends to begin with, but then they get a girlfriend and she's like, "No, yeah, what are you talking about? Yeah, of course I had slept with him. Yeah, I hang out with 3 different guys that I've had sex with before. They're just like friends or whatever. It's not that big of a deal."
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I can't. And so then you feel bad. You feel bad because that sucks. Why would you want your girlfriend to hang out with
guys she slept with?
Guys she slept with. So you're already miserable, and then you feel guilty about being miserable. So you've got that. It's like you're compounding your misery. Because now it's not just the original misery of having your girl hang out with guys she slept with. It's now the misery of the cognitive dissonance you have in your head of denying your true nature by being like, I shouldn't be upset about this.
Uh-huh.
It's sexist that I'm upset about this.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So you're just...
No, you should be upset by it. You shouldn't allow it.
Yeah, you shouldn't allow it.
You should break up with her.
Yeah, you should break up with her. If she won't... And that's the thing...
No, I don't know if there's even a if she won't. If she's hanging out with guys that she's slept with, you should break up with her.
Yeah, you should break up with her. Yeah.
Flat, hard, period.
Yeah.
Hard stop.
You should just break up with her. That's true.
That's probably not the person you want. I doubt many of our listeners. Well, I don't know. Maybe. We now no longer know most of our listeners. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, dude, guys are miserable. So guys, listen, advocate for the peace of not just yourself, but the peace of your woman by telling her what to wear. You have permission to do that if you're married, and you should.
And you should back it up biblically.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're also responsible for her spiritual well-being. You're the leader and the protector, and you need to. It shouldn't just be orders coming down from on high.
Right.
That could be misconstrued as you just being unreasonably jealous.
Yeah.
Given that she's been swimming as a fish in this kind of temperature of water and is used to it and doesn't think anything of the tight yoga pants.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why it's got to be a big conversation and explaining.
Right. Right. There's a lot of explaining to do.
I told my wife, I was like, please don't. And maybe you'll disagree with this, but I told her not to even take off a sweatshirt in front of me, like back before we were married.
Oh, for real?
Because I was like, just the act of you pulling something up over your head, even though it's a sweatshirt and you have clothes on.
Yes.
I was like, the mental
on that
image is that you're taking off of your top.
Yep.
And I was like, that's what flashes through my head.
Yep.
Is a girl going, and,
Yep.
and just bearing it all, even though you're just taking off a really baggy sweatshirt and have totally appropriate clothes on underneath.
Yep.
It still goes in my mind. I'm like, oh. Yeah. And especially not being married, I was like,
yeah. I think that kind of makes me think. This sucks. This is a thing that sucks for girls, and I'm sorry that you guys have to deal with this. And this is one of the really terrible consequences of what I'm about to say. But you guys are going to have to just accept the fact that porn exists now, and it does mean that you are going to do banal things like take your sweatshirt off, and the guys around you are going to be able to picture in their head what it looks like for a woman to take her top off because they've seen it a bajillion times.
They've seen that motion.
Yeah, they've seen that motion because they've seen it in porn. So it makes it way easier to visualize. So, and that's not your fault. And I'm sorry that's the way that it is, but it's the way that it is.
So it would be helpful to just,
to try to, but even then that's, I don't know, you start getting into the
in the week. Well, it's also into what the guy is responsible for versus. Right. So I mean, the woman. Can't
she's not
go
allowed
around,
to move now at this point.
Yeah, she's not allowed to bend over either. Right. You can't guard against everything. This was just between me and my girlfriend
it's a funny
or
anecdotal.
fiance.
Yes. Because I get Emily will hit certain stretches, and I'm like, babe, I'm trying to go to work right now. She'll hit one of these.
How dare you?
How dare you, dude? She can't do that. That's the best one too. She's got such a great collarbone. I think we're good.
You find that every piece of your wife is a little art piece.
You do find that every piece of your wife is a little art piece.
It's a very funny sentence. She's got such a great collarbone.
She does. My wife is extremely elegant. Every part of my wife is extremely elegant, which is that's what I was looking for in a wife. So, I think we're good. Are we good?
I think so.
Okay. Guys, we love you. We're sorry that we were out for a week or 2 weeks?
This is only going to skip a week because it's been 3 weeks since we recorded, so there should have been an episode drop last week.
Right. That is correct. Okay. So we're sorry we were out last week. It's not really my fault.
It was due to illness.
Yes.
Give us a break.
Yeah. Give us
Please.
a break. Come on.
We were working hard despite not
quit busting our balls all the time. We're slaving here, dude. We're working so hard as podcasters. This is the hardest job on earth.
I thought we could coin really quick here at the end. What do you think of calling our listeners workers?
The workers? The worker bees?
Just workers.
Just workers?
Well, you know how podcasters have names for their audience.
Yeah, they call them the workers? Yeah, let's do that.
I don't think we can do much with the other word that's not appropriate. So I think we're kind of stuck with doing something with work.
Yeah, I think so. Can't call them. We
could just say good morning, workers.
Good morning, workers.
Anywho.
Yeah, I like that. That'll evolve into something good.
Yeah. I had thought of that earlier. I wanted to pop that in here.
I like it.
Maybe you'll see more of that. All right, workers.
Goodbye, workers. We love you. We're praying for you. Go to church.
Find a girl. Get married to her.
Cover
if she's
her.
the right girl. Yes, cover her. Protect her body for yourself and for God.
If she doesn't agree with you, hit her.
And mercy.
Just kidding.
Hit her with lots of love.
Hit her with lots of loves and hugs and sweet kisses and
everything that leads to lots of babies.
yes.
All the babies. Just make big piles of babies.
As big as the piles you can make of babies.
As many as you can provide for.
Yes.
And then when you think you can't provide for any more, ask God to help you provide for some more.
Yeah. All right, guys. We're out. We love you. Bye.
Ta-ta, y'all.